what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, SX, Spurs Chemo, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Neil, Jose, Jimmy, and Chocolate Saying. Good to have you all.
Hello. What?
So where is Bill Miller?
So just to continue kind of where we left off, and so Jimmy, the reason why Jimmy I feel is satisfied with this guess because he assumes by now he's saying, well, this is an old guess, guys. Relax. We've worked it out today. Of course we have, and when you say, Anthony, we don't have it, you heard his response. It's like, oh, of course we have. But this is what I'm saying. We should ask Jimmy who has verified this guess. Right?
Yeah. And basically, let me reassert my position. They do not know the distance to any of the celestial bodies. And if they do, let's see who did it and by what method. How was it measured? And it seems that Jimmy doesn't realize that... Pardon?
It was Cassini. It's in that article. That's why I made that meme that's in the chat. I made a meme that describes how he figured out the distance to a celestial body. It's right there.
When you say it's in the chat, what do you mean?
It's in the chat messages, in the Google chat, in the Hangouts.
Google.
You can go and send messages to each other. It's the one that has the stars on it. And the...
Okay, I get you.
Because you were asked, Jimmy, who was it? I think Chocolate was asking, why are you satisfied with, information from the 1600s? And you're like, well, it's just a guess, and that guess has been confirmed. Am I right in that understanding, Jimmy?
I'd go along with that again.
Yeah, so this is what I'm getting from you. It's like you can't understand why, they're getting on your back about this year-old, a guess because it's been verified. So
yeah, but the point is, I'm sorry to interject there. The point is, Anthony doesn't think it's ever been done since, and he just said it quite the whole panel here now. Is that what everyone would agree? Anthony,
that's the point. Your response is, oh, of course it has, Anthony. What are you talking about, right?
Yeah.
Right. So now, what do we do? Where do we get this back?
I'm having a search for it.
Because here's the thing. I just
hold on,
looked at, I just try to do a real quick
chocolate. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there's a question that needs leveling. So you're asserting that it's been done since, Jimmy. So can you show us that, please?
I'm just having a search for modern day methods, but I did find something just before on Universe Today.
Cool.
And this is 100 years later. I try and read it as quick as I can. It's all to do with the transits of Venus, which are extremely rare, even like once in a lifetime rare. By the time Halley realized this method would work, knew he was too old to have a chance to complete it himself. So in hope that a future generation would undertake the task, he wrote out specific instructions on how the observation must be carried out. In order for the end result to have a desired accuracy, I'll cut to the chase anyway. So basically, it was a collaboration between the
In order for the result to have the desired accuracy, read on, please.
What to read on? Okay, sorry. Where are we now? In order for the result to have a desired accuracy, the timing of the transit needs to be measured down to the second. In order to have a large separation distance, the observing sites would need to be located at the far reaches of the Earth. And in order to ensure the cloudy weather didn't ruin the chances of success, observers would be needed at locations all over the globe. Talk about a big undertaking. Despite these challenges, astronomers in France and England resolved that they would collect the necessary data during the 1961 transit. By that time, however, the situation was even worse. England and France were embroiled in a 7-year war. Travel by sea was nearly impossible. Nevertheless, the effort persisted. Although not all observers were successful, clouds, blots, some warships, etc., when combined with data collected during another transit 8 years later, the undertaking had been a success. French astronomer Jerome Lalande collected all the data and computed the first accurate distance to the Sun, 153 million kilometers, good to within 3% of the true value. There's another person who's done it since. You're wrong, Anthony.
Oh, right, hang on. So when D Marble asked you yesterday who named 2 or 3 people, he actually said 4, then he dropped it to 3, and you cited Cassini and Huygens.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you now retract your answer to him because it was wrong?
Is that the best you've got, Anthony? Really?
I want you to retract your answer yesterday because it was wrong. Will you retract it or not?
You asked me for 3 names, and I gave you. Gave you
2 of them turned out to be based on a guess. So, do you retract that comment from yesterday or not?
I don't retract it now.
Right. Well, why would you not retract it when it's been demonstrated to be wrong?
Why would you not retract something? So, the 2 citations aren't measurements to the sun; they're guesses.
Okay, look, when I hear Jimmy respond, it's like he seems like headlights, rabbit. So, Jimmy, the reason why these things, it's not a case of like we're more higher or powerful than you. The reason why we ask to concede a point, or anybody, I should concede a point if it's wrong, is so we can have an honest conversation. So if you realize, oh, I've made a mistake, okay, I shouldn't have used this guy who made a guess, okay, let's move on. Then it doesn't look like, we're trying to get one over each other. We're having an honest, I think the key is the honest conversation, Jimmy.
With all due respect, I was asked for 3 names of people who measured the distance to the sun. And I gave.
No, I just want you to understand why.
You were asked for 3 names. Hang on, you were asked for 3 names for people that measured the sun, and you answered with Huygens, Cassini, and then many others since. But we just demonstrated that Huygens and Cassini were based on an assumption, and many others since you've now changed your position with somebody new. So we'll deal with the somebody new in a sec. Do you retract your Huygens and Cassini comment yesterday to D Marble or not?
Or do you stand by it?
No,
Jimmy, do you still stand by?
Let me answer.
Sorry?
Let me answer.
Yeah.
Go on, answer.
Marble asked me for 3 names of people who measured the distance to the sun. Whether you believe in the accuracy of that is up to you. But I gave you 2 names, to be fair, and at the time, on the fly. Yeah? And then we went down this route of talking about assumptions and guesswork, etc. That's fine. But these still people measured the distance of the sun. Whether
no, they didn't. Hold on, Jimmy. They did not measure the distance to the sun. That is precisely why you're being asked if you are now going to retract it. Neither of the 2 citations you gave measured the distance to the sun. Both plucked it out of their arse. Why would you stand by these citations when neither qualify as having measured the distance to the sun? Why are you standing by guesses and assumptions?
I'm not.
You are. If you're not retracting it, you are standing by 2 citations that did not qualify as measuring the distance to the sun because they guessed.
Under your definition, Nathan?
No, under the definition of what it says they did. Their process involved guessing.
But they still measured the distance.
No, they didn't. That's the point, you dimwit. If you measure something, you run a tape measure along it. If you guess, you go, it's about 12 inches.
It's like the whole 35, 110 feet thing.
You're not guessing if you measure. They didn't measure, they guessed. Why would you stand by something that is not a measurement and is in fact a guess? Why would you stand by the opposite of what you have been asked for as though it's valid when it is not?
1 second.
So here's where I am.
Hold
as a
on,
layman
Travis.
Understanding. Okay.
However, because Huygens' method was... oh god, it just jumped. 1 second. However, because Huygens' method was partly guesswork and not completely scientifically grounded, he usually doesn't get the credit. Giovanni Cassini, sorry. It keeps jumping. 1 second. Where are we now?
So, okay, so let's just stop you there while you mutter a little bit.
Once they
So,
had the
hold
distance
on,
to Mars, they
Jimmy,
could
Jimmy, hold on a
sun.
second.
Since
Jimmy,
they
just
usually
while
get
you,
credit.
Jimmy, let's deal with one of them at a time. So, one of them is definitely not valid based on that sentence you just read.
Yep.
So, let's start with that one. Will you now concede that that was not a measurement to the sun or not?
The first line of that is in 1653, astronomer Christian
It's not what I
Huygens.
asked. Just listen to the question, Jimmy. Will you now concede that the first cited reference you gave did not measure the distance to the sun, as it states in the sentence you just read?
Not accurately.
So he didn't measure it then?
Accurately. He was
accurately, right? If I measure something and tell somebody that it's 12 inches and it turns out to be 11 inches, I haven't measured it. I've guessed.
Hang on, Nathan. It doesn't use the word measure. What was the adjective it used?
Say again.
Calculate.
Read the first line and let's focus on the word it used.
Calculate.
Right. So is calculating or measuring the same thing?
It's working. Calculating is working it out.
Right. Is measuring and calculating the same thing? Yes or no?
I mean, you're not thinking
like pulling teeth, Jimmy. So you've had it explained to you by Spurs that when there is a very obvious point that needs conceding, your cited reference is garbage because the guy who gave you the measurement, in quotes, plucked it out of his arse, and you're still not conceding it. It makes you seem dishonest.
I think the real thing here we should be looking at is Anthony's assertion that no one has ever measured it since 1653.
No, that's distraction.
No, it's not distraction because that's actually more important. You think no one has ever measured it.
The issue is you cited these two people yesterday to demarble. And when we looked into it, it turns out they guessed it and you won't retract your comment.
They're pretty accurate with their guesses.
They didn't. No.
Sorry, hold on. I'm not going to let that slide. Pretty accurate with their guesses. So they did not measure the distance.
But they didn't measure it accurately, but they measured the distance.
They didn't measure it. They calculated it. And they calculated it based on assumptions and guesswork. Why won't you... I'm going to ask a different question, Jimmy. Why won't you concede this?
If you want me to concede it, I'll concede it to move on. There you go.
Let's see you concede it. I want you to say, my cited reference was incorrect, I was wrong. Let's see you concede it then.
I've just said it.
But he's been dishonest again.
I'm not being dishonest.
Yeah,
okay, I've conceded it now. Let's talk about Anthony's assertion.
No, I want clear air. Nobody speak. I want to hear your concession.
My concession is I'm conceding so hard about misleading all of you guys. There you go. How's that?
No, the cited reference that you were asked for was a distance to the sun measurement. That is not what you provided. I want you to concede that the cited references you gave were incorrect. That's what you need to concede here. They did not prove what you asserted at all.
1653, astronomer Christian Huygens calculated the distance from Earth to the Sun.
Did he measure it?
However, because Huygens' method was partly guesswork and not completely scientifically grounded, he usually doesn't get the credit.
Yeah, what credit should he be given for a guess?
A bloody good try.
Right, you can have that. You can have a bloody good try, but the question was, who measured it?
Well, Cassini's a first person.
Right, so read what it says about Cassini's attempt.
Well, hold on. Why? We've done this. We've gone through it. The audience has heard it. You've heard it, Jimmy. I want to know an answer to a different question. Why won't you concede it when you're so obviously incorrect? You're still not conceding it. You've said you've conceded it, but you haven't.
I've just said I concede it.
So let's hear you concede it then. What are you conceding, Jimmy?
Give me the line again, Nathan.
Why are you doing that? Why can't you just do it?
Because what you panel do is you try and gang up and trying to get this concession-based thing on what is an actual nonsense conversation. Because
so it's not being conceded. It's being called nonsense now. So this isn't a very good concession. You're wrong, Jimmy. We asked you for a measurement to the sun. and you didn't give it. What you gave us was a calculation based on a guess, not a measurement to the sun. Hey, Rumpus.
Hello, Rumpus.
Bye, Rumpus.
Let him speak. Jesus.
Really?
Oh, he's gone.
So where's the concession?
Poor Rumpus.
Where's the concession, Jimmy?
I've given him that concession.
Let's hear it. I didn't hear a concession.
I concess to whatever you guys want me to concess to.
Concede is the word, not concess.
Are you happy with defending this person that guessed?
Yeah, it's 1653. Jesus.
That's not conceding. That's defending it again. So what I want to hear is the concession, so that after the concession, Jimmy, you don't start saying like, it was ages ago, my citation that was wrong.
This is based on another website I read. And they're saying people who worked out the distance to the sun. This is their words, not my words.
No, is it?
This is us just putting another nail in the coffin of the ball earth nonsense. This is what it is.
Is that all you've got, Ranty? Is that all you've got?
This is it.
Well,
This
hang
is
on a
us
minute.
destroying your evidence that you
Hang on,
don't
you're the
have.
one that
You don't
cited-
have any evidence for anything.
You're the one that cited stuff. It turns out to be a guess. Now, you've kind of half-wittedly kind of concessed to it, as you put it. Now, ultimately, the question still is on the table. Who measured the distance to the sun? My position is that it's never been measured. So you think that the whole body of science, to quote Rumpus, supports you with this. Yet you've cited Cassini and Huygens, and neither of which measured it. So my question to you is, who measured the distance to the sun?
It says here, since his methods are more scientific, he usually gets the credit. Cassini.
Right, but we've just been through Cassini. It was based on the assumption.
In answer to your question, Anthony, nobody measured it.
Correct. That's the answer. Nobody knows the distance to the sun.
According to you and your panel.
Right, so where's the evidence that it is 93
back
then?
to the
According
beginning
to
then.
documents.
So can you show us who measured it, please, Jimmy?
Just giving you some names.
Yeah, oh, so the ones you've conceded didn't measure it? Those names, Jimmy? The answer's yes. Those names, the ones that I gave, we ripped apart, proved that they were guessworks and just extrapolations and not measurements. Those names, Jimmy, are they the names you're referring to?
That's the ones.
Right, well, you've just conceded that they aren't measuring the distance to the sun because they're based on guesswork. They plucked it out their arse, as you put it, Jimmy. So those aren't good names. So have you got any others that aren't those because they weren't as you conceded?
Like, if you give me a bit of time, I can find something.
Okay, then.
Okie dokie.
Should we sit in silence until he comes back to us?
No, let's do
What year was this person, this Huygens, Christian?
1653.
17 what?
1653.
Oh, okay.
I think we need to do some housekeeping and maybe include distance to the sun.
Actually, it was 1656. So you're wrong on your year as well.
I don't know if I want to do housekeeping 20 minutes into the show, Ranty.
I know, but we didn't do it in last show either.
I know. But I literally did a standalone video just about housekeeping, so not having it in a couple of shows is no bad thing.
Okay.
But I may add...
Ranty was trying to
distance
say he thinks we should throw, is there any evidence for the distance of the sun into the housekeeping?
Definitely,
Yeah.
that's added. It's official. Well done, you, Ranty. Well done, Jaren, for digging out the original citation. Well done to Jimmy for citing it. Blinding. Good work all round, I would say.
And well done, Anthony.
I was going to say, where's my name?
Oh, you didn't get any credit, did you?
It's a bit like the Cassini guys not getting the credit they deserve.
Yeah, for having a guess.
No, full credit goes to Anthony. He's the one that, pulled it all together and laid his little trap. He's been sat on that little jape for about 4 weeks.
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Yeah. 7
Jimmy
weeks,
walked
3
into
days,
it head first.
16 hours.
And then start telling us how crap his citations that he wouldn't concede were. Amazing, really.
But yeah, originally it come from Jaren. I had to ask. I mean, no, I couldn't find who actually did it. I mean, on the one hand, Jimmy's quite right to say that loads of people have had a go, but so what? No one ever remembers everybody that had a go. People remember the one that won. And what's really interesting is if it was Huygens that measured it, wouldn't you think that would be on his Wikipedia page as being the man known for being the citation for the distance to the sun? And it's not on his web page, on his Wikipedia page. So if it is him that did it, apparently in whatever method, he hasn't been cited on Wikipedia, which I find a little bit interesting. So the question still remains: who measured it? When was it done? And by what method?
Agree.
The poor ballers, they're being destroyed on a weekly basis now.
Jimmy's tough though. It comes in every day almost.
He does. He keeps going back for a bash, and I think they like it.
Jimmy, you like this, right?
I found another citation on the early times on the distance to the sun. It was a 1762. I posted. It was like a letter. I posted it in the Google Hangouts, but in the first sentence it says it was deduced also. So it wasn't measured. It's kind of the same thing with this other guy, just deduced.
Ballers are not allowed to win on your biased masturbating, of course. You're allowed to win. If they come in with some evidence, that's fine.
I said to Nathan the other day, I said we might have to consider giving them tactical victories just to let
Are you scared of me, Anthony, or something?
No, I just think you're an
idiot.
Yay.
One page and
At least people back in the day were honest enough to put the word assumption, on their measurements and that stuff.
Okay. Can we ask Rumpus?
So come on then, Rumpus. How about they measuring the sun?
No, Rumpus has left the building. I don't.
Again.
To be honest, unless Rumpus is going to come back with the thing that he promised us months ago, and it is months ago, the explanation for the thing that he said he was going to explain on his model, then he has no place. He really has no place in this discussion, and I don't think he needs to be here. The conversation goes to shit when he joins.
I don't think that's fair, really, because at least it'd be worth him coming in to hear what he says, because he is kind of a champion for the ballers. So, it does look a bit naughty when he gets kicked.
He doesn't take turns on the microphone, though.
I agree with that.
Squeaky door.
I agree with that, and he doesn't shut up in the background.
You've posted
it is hard to talk
Chocolate,
to.
I seem to keep interrupting you every time. I'm really sorry. So you've just posted a link, Jimmy. You want to direct us to where you feel that it's been measured?
How they do it nowadays?
Sorry?
Pardon?
How they do it nowadays?
Well, I've got up what they use, and they use an astronomical unit.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
it's based on
astronomical unit is, Jimmy.
Say again, sorry?
Do you know what an astronomical unit is?
I did come across it the other day, yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
It's
Hi, Alan.
Hi. How's my volume?
Loud.
We can hear you eating your ice creams.
So the astronomical unit, Jimmy, what is one astronomical unit?
is it something to do with the Earth to the Sun?
Yeah. So what would the value of that be? Would be 93 million miles, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So where's that value come from?
It's boring, guys. It's utterly boring.
Not boring. We're loving it.
Hold on.
How
So
are you
we've got
doing
two. You've cited another reference, Jimmy, and that reference uses AU. And you don't know what AU is. You've got to look it up on Google, have you?
I said I'm not a scientist now.
Well, you've cited it. Why are you citing it if you don't understand it? Is it a bit like the other references that you've given us? When you cite stuff, you don't really understand whether or not it proves what you're claiming at all. You just cite it anyway and then let us pick it to pieces afterwards, like with this reference, which uses AU.
Right, Jimmy, let me help you.
I'm okay, thank you, Anthony.
Okay.
No, you're not. You're not. You need a lot of help,
You're
Jimmy.
really not. you need all the help you can get, man.
Yeah. Did anyone watch the video I posted yesterday?
No, nobody watched it.
Nobody watched it.
No, let's focus on
real
it.
truthers. You guys are real truthers.
Sorry, have you found out what AU is yet, Jimmy?
Your answer.
AU.
No one watched the video yesterday.
So are you distracting away from your cited reference? You've just wasted my time by making me have a look at it, Jimmy. Why are you wasting everybody's time and then bringing up new subjects?
Oh, I'm talking
Well, you've
about
gone all
something
high
that I
pitched now,
posted
Jimmy.
recently
Why did you
that
go all
only
high
works.
pitched then? Just explain why you're citing garbage again. Are we going to have to get you to concede that this is also garbage? Will that take an hour for you to concede that the link you've just posted is crap?
Radar
Do
astronomy.
you want to just concede it now, Jimmy? Just concede now that you've just posted garbage again that doesn't prove your
Radar
assertion.
astronomy is the technique of observing nearby astronomical objects by reflecting microwaves off target objects and analysing reflections. This is how they measure the distance between planets.
Where does it say that?
And one of the links I put in.
Where? That's not what you. When you were reading, then that's not what it said.
What?
Where does it say that about measuring the distant planets?
Oh, that's what my addition to that was.
Right. So that's not in the citation.
Sorry,
is it? You ad-libbed that in yourself.
What did he just say? That was my addition to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they your words?
Oh,
That
yeah.
was your addition. Can you just hold on? I want to know what that means. What does that mean, Jimmy? Your addition.
It means it wasn't in the citation.
No, not you, Anthony.
And
Not you.
I read one sentence and I added a tiny bit extra. Is that a worst crime ever?
So
Yeah.
what you mean is you took a section of text and quoted it completely out of context by adding your own spin to it.
No, that's lying, Nathan.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And you don't lie, Nathan.
Sorry, this is about you and your third crap incorrect citation that does not prove the thing you've been asked for.
What?
Yeah. We've
How
tried
they
to get you
measure
to
the distance.
concede
This
this
is how they measure
garbage,
the distance
and
to
with the
planets.
first two, you're talking over me, Jimmy. With the
Sorry.
first two, it was like pulling teeth, trying to get you to concede that they just guessed. Even though you read it out yourself that they guessed, you still wanted to stand by it as though it was a good citation because they didn't measure accurately. They were your words.
Yeah,
They didn't
and
measure at
16
all,
bits.
Jimmy. You still didn't concede. You've gone and dug out a third reference, which is also complete garbage.
Is it? Please explain.
Yeah, it uses AU, the astronomical unit, which you don't know what it is. And rather than looking it up, you're now asking us about a video you posted yesterday, which
Did
is
you-
where
to
this
what?
began. It's a distraction away from your crap citation,
actually-
Jimmy.
It highlights the panel itself, and you call yourself real truthers. But
Sorry, what is this garbage? What are you talking about? Why aren't you getting us what we've asked for, the distance to the sun measurement that obviously has been done, according to you?
Mhm.
Well, where is it?
I've just given you how they do it nowadays.
No! Third time in a row, 3 for 3 crap citations that don't prove it, along with little additions.
I'm not allowed to add words to.
No! You find us a cited reference and you quote it verbatim. You don't add Jimmy's little spin.
I like the sound of that, to be fair.
Oh, what are you muttering again? I didn't hear you.
I said I like the sound of that, Jimmy's little.
What,
spin.
Jimmy's little spin?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't add Jimmy's little spin. Idiot.
Great band name.
Idiot.
So no one watched the video then.
So, are you going to find us this measurement that has obviously been done according to you by numerous other people?
Don't want to.
You're muttering again, Jimmy.
I said I don't want to.
You don't want to, or you can't. As asserted by Anthony. Let's get a concession that I don't want to, I can't, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Ah, Jimmy.
They've all got the same MO, these guys. They sit in chat and they take the abuse and they never concede anything. Anyone would think they come off their assembly line.
It's alright, see if we can get 4 for 4. Do you want to show us your evidence of the measurement to the distance to the sun, Jimmy? Do you want to show us that? See if we can get a fourth one out of you.
How they do it. I've showed you what technology they use to do it.
Sorry, can you show it us again? Bring it up on screen, let's have a look.
Jimmy, I'm trying to play Arwin and I'm looking for citations and real experiments and real measurements. I cannot find anything in the archives anywhere, man. So is there any, you think?
Still waiting for that concession, Jimmy.
I don't need to concede anything.
Yeah, you do. The citations you have given were based on guesswork. They didn't measure anything. They calculated it. based on assumptions, specifically that Venus is the same size as a presupposed spherical Earth. So they've got two assumptions. One, that Earth is a sphere, and two, that Venus is the same size sphere as Earth.
It's about 700 miles difference.
Sorry, you don't have any scientific backing for the Earth-based radius, let alone to determine that Venus is the same bloody size. And it says in the text, it was a guess.
In 1653.
Sorry, the time the guess came out is irrelevant. Your citation, yeah, from the 1600s was based on a guess, Jimmy.
In 1653.
So
who cares what year it is? That's totally irrelevant to the fact that he guessed. It wasn't a measurement, Jimmy. And you still can't concede. What's your problem?
And how far was he out?
Don't ask me something. My question is, why can't you concede that when someone plucks a value out of their ass, it doesn't support a measurement of the sun? Why can't you concede this?
I think that's a very glib interpretation of what he actually did.
No, what he did was an interpretation of a light in the sky, and he decided how big that light was. He decided it was the same size as a presupposition of an Earth that's a sphere, and how big that sphere is, according to them, based on guesswork. That's what it is, Jimmy.
Like 5 minutes to do it or something.
Nathan, let's just go down the avenue that he's just asked. How far out was he? So let's if you're not going to talk about the distance to the sun, how far out was he? Tell us who it was that measured it, so we can tell how far out Cassini was.
Off the top of my head, I think it was 250,000 miles, but I could be mistaken.
Not the distance. The reference, you dumbo. Don't just throw a number out, you complete idiot. Tell us who gave you that value.
Where's it come from?
My general understanding as I've gone through topics.
Oh, so it's Jimmy's little words, is it? Well. Jimmy's addition? It's entirely Jimmy's addition, is it?
I could be mistaken in my memory.
Yeah, you could be mistaken in your memory. That's why we ask for citations, you idiot.
Okay, well, let's find it then.
Yeah, this is fine, isn't it? Yeah, don't go all high-pitched. Just get a citation.
You're 13 years old, aren't you, Nathan? Just to check.
Sorry, you're muttering. Do you want to speak clearly? Open your mouth as you speak.
You're not a teenager, are you?
Sorry, does this have anything to do with a cited reference for a measurement to the sun, Jimmy?
Just give me a second. Taking time.
Oh, GeoStream has responded.
Oh, excellent.
I think I was given 1 or 2 links or something back then. If you want the specifics, I'd have to dig into the old Skype chats from that time.
So according to him, he was provided with links.
Yes, he said he was given 1 or 2 links or something back then.
Can you just read it verbatim again, please, Ranty?
Right, hang on. I was just reading it because it was a pop-up. Let me get the full response.
You there, Anthony?
Right, yeah. I think I was given 1 or 2 links or something back then. Full stop. If you want the specifics, I'd have to dig the old Skype chats from that time.
So he's had text links on Skype.
Yeah, links. So he was given 1 or 2 links back then. So it sounds like he was saying that somebody fed him 1 or 2 links.
Interesting. You there, Anthony? Sod's law.
He's been waiting for that all day.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it for 2 shows. As soon as it comes up, Anthony's vanished. They've had a good couple of minutes, Jimmy.
Fair say. Changing my So no one watched the video posted in yesterday.
Sorry, Jimmy. We are specifically waiting for a cited reference, not Jimmy's magical spin, for a measured distance to the sun. We're not interested in the video you posted yesterday. Please don't mention it again.
Real troopers, aren't you guys?
Excuse me. Have you got that citation, Jimmy? That's what we're waiting for. There's a lot of dead air because we're waiting for you to come up with that.
I'm just trying to find it.
Right.
Trying to find an actual number.
Okay. You mutter into the conversation when you find it. Okay, Jimmy?
Okay, Nathan.
So whilst he's looking for that, I'll reassert my position that nobody has ever measured any of the celestial bodies because they do appear, and I agree with Arwin on this one, they appear to be heavenly bodies of some kind. They're not tangible objects. They seem to be lights.
Right. Anthony, you were away for a second, I assume, on the phone or getting a brew or something.
Okay, so what?
Ranty, can you read Geo Streber's response?
Yeah, he says, I think I was given 1 or 2 links or something back then. If you want the specifics, I'd have to dig the old Skype chats from that time. So what he's saying is that he was given links, but in the Skype chat. So he's saying it's a physical, typed out kind of link as opposed to a vocalized one. Because obviously you wouldn't be able to prove it through an old Skype chat.
Okay, so I reckon that's the wishy-washiest answer you could ever get, the most non-committal answer you could ever get. If I drop from the Hangout, Nathan, can I rejoin on Skype so that the sound passes through?
Yeah, sure.
One sec. In fact, what I'll do is I can mute from in here, and then the place doesn't get lost. So I'll mute in here, and then I'll just ring on Skype.
Just drop from the Hangout.
That's right. You can stay in the Hangout if you like.
Nah, it normally causes some audio issue.
Right. Okay.
Post the link, Nathan, just for reference.
It seems to me that he's admitting that he was getting information, but it was via text in a Skype chat.
I see.
Yeah, that's why he says.
Right, I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing what?
Oh no, I can hear you now.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, off you go, Anthony.
Okay, so GeoStreamer. What I'll do is I'll just show. I want to show people where it is on the actual video so that they can find it, so that they know that I'm not misrepresenting any position. It's basically around about the 14-minute mark. Now, what this video, I'm not going to play it in his video. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to play it in the video editor. But I went back to listen to this specifically because I wanted to hear the precise phraseology that was used in this discussion. Because, of course, if you guess the size of Venus and assume that it's the size of the Earth, then what that then does is it brings back into this conversation the angular size argument. And these ballers all took issue with my citation, my words. My words were angle size is a measurement, but angular size is a sum. They didn't like this, and I had a one-on-one hangout with GeoStreamer. Or so I thought. And I went back, and because I was listening very carefully, there was a period of silence in this video, and I thought, what was that in the background? Because it sounded like he was on a walkie-talkie. It sounded like somebody was talking to him on a police radio or something like that. So what I did was I got the relevant clip out of the video, and I've spliced it into 4 sections, or 2 sections basically, to amplify the 2 sections that I heard this stuff. So on the left-hand side, I've got the original hangout. Then I've got 2 splices here, and this bit in the middle has got nothing because I heard what sounded like walkie-talkie noise. Then I've got Geo coming back in again, so there's no effects here. And then I've got this period again, which there's walkie-talkie noise in the background. And I wondered what the walkie-talkie noise was, because there really shouldn't be anything there because it was a one-on-one hangout. And then it goes back to the conversation that Geo was having with me. So my focus is on this section that's here, and this section that's here where there should be nothing because it's supposed to be a one-on-one hangout. So what I'll do is I'll just show you very quickly that I've got the filters. I've got the high pass filter to get rid of the background noise set to 2000 hertz, and I've got the gain turned up to 400% to amplify what's there, and that's so I could pick out what's being said. And to my surprise, I thought that we were having a one-on-one hangout, me and Geo, and that was it. So I was really shocked when I heard Sean Hufford in the background feeding information to GeoStreamer. So what you'll hear now is Geo's voice. I'll play it from here. This bit's Geo. Then there should be a pause of nothing. Then Geo again. Then a pause of nothing. And then Geo again. So you'll hear Sean Hufford clearly talking to him and telling him instructions in the background through TeamSpeak or whatever. So listen carefully.
No sound.
Oh, there's no sound. Hang on. I'm obviously, hang on. Sharing desktop and system audio.
No, just drop it and then start again.
Okay, hang on. Is that working? I'll just do a sound check, Nath. Did you hear Gio?
Yeah, going.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll turn it up. So before, don't say anything once you stop because I'll lower the mic back down before you talk. So don't blast my audience out. So in a second, I'm going to turn it right up. Don't reply. Just press play. Then pause afterwards.
Okay. So you're listening for the gap in the middle, okay?
Wait, let me check it. Where was it? Further down, right?
Yeah, go back to that definition you saved to show you back.
Small angle formula. What?
You can't differentiate size.
Small angle. Did you change the page?
Okay. Do you want to play it one more time, Anthony?
Wait, let me check it. Where was it? Further down, right?
Yeah, go back to that definition you saved to show you back.
Small angle formula. What?
You can't differentiate size.
Small angle.
Okay.
So what you can clearly hear there is that there is somebody talking in the background, and I recognise the voice. It's Sean Hufford. And the first thing he says is, yeah, go back to that definition where he cites the definition of angular size. And the second one, he says, you can't cross-reference such and such to something else. And then he speaks and cuts it off. But the point is that he's got Sean in the background feeding him information for what's supposed to be a one-on-one hangout, and is evidence that these people can't act on their own. And I'm there on my own. I've got nobody else to fight with me. I'm literally doing it on my own bat, and that's what I thought he was doing. So when it comes to the likes of Red's Rhetoric challenge Nathan to come out and do it outside of his quote comfort zone, this is what they're doing in the background. They're using programs like TeamSpeak so that they can have a one-way conversation with me, and I can't hear them collaborating in the background. They're all dishonest. They're liars. This was not a one-on-one hangout. I was fighting him and Sean, at least Sean, probably others too, and they're collaborating in the background. So how honest or how is that not disingenuous to tell me that I'm in there on my own, but actually he's got Sean in the background? I think that's quite kind of dishonest, GeoStreamer, and you suit the name liar.
That is pretty dishonest.
Yeah.
Very good.
Now it's not just hearsay. You actually got him on tape doing it.
Have you got your mic open, Anthony?
Yeah, I can't get back in. It's full. But
Hangout's full, Anthony. Just stay on Skype.
Yeah, so the point is that these guys are actually working, colluding behind the scenes, giving me the impression that I'm there with just me and Gio, but actually there's at least one other person feeding him information. So when Gio's asked the question, were you being fed the information? Let's just go back to his answer and let's see does it match what he says.
The answer
His response is sort by most recent. Where was the response? There we go. He says, I think I was given 1 or 2 links or something back then. If you want the specifics, I'd have to dig out the old Skype chats from the time. Well, I was about responding to the fact that Sean Hufford was feeding you in the background, and we can hear it on the. He came through in the feed on your microphone. So maybe you could address that, Gio. It was supposed to be a one-on-one hangout, just me and you. And you've got at least one extra guy helping you in the background, specifically telling you what to do.
What's his
Can't
reply
you
to
do
me?
hangouts yourself?
So if you click on down arrow where I say, was this a one-on-one debate? Click view reply.
Pardon?
Anthony.
Say that again.
Just click on view reply under my comment to him. Was this a one-on-one debate? Question mark.
This wasn't a debate. A debate is a type of presentation conversation with strictly defined format. This here is an open discussion. But to answer your question, yes, this was one-on-one. It is possible that I sent 1 or 2 messages. It's possible I sent some messages about points being made whilst we were talking, but I can't recall any specific ones right now. Well, what about the one where Sean Hufford's in the background at about 14 minutes telling you what to do?
Just read it one more time.
Sorry,
it's too small for me to read. Just read it one more time.
That's busted. Seriously busted there.
Because as far as I could glean, he's saying, yes, it was one-on-one discussion.
One-on-one. Yeah, he did.
This was 1 versus 1. You liar.
Yeah, you're a lying sack of shit, Gio.
You liar. It wasn't 1-on-1. Sean was there with you, Gio. You're a liar. Count 2 for 2, I believe. Just a blatant liar. You disgust me, Gio. You disgust me.
Yeah. So you can't even have a one-on-one without it being 1.5.
Apparently 1 + 1 is 3 now.
Yeah. It's quite
The
sickening, don't you
logic.
think?
So Gio's probably watching this show. I'm in no doubt.
Well,
What's
he
your
might
response,
not be. He
Gio?
might be in
You've
school or
been
whatever,
caught
but-
red-handed. Absolutely red-handed. You said it was 1-on-1. It wasn't. You must have known you were talking to Sean.
Yeah.
You lying
If
sack
Gio
of
wants to come in the
garbage.
panel, I'm willing to drop.
Yeah,
I
let's
wanna
see if
know-
he's
I
in the-
want a
if he's
response
in
from
there.
Gio on this.
Absolutely. Let's have your excuses lined up. We've already got it in text form shown to the audience. There it is. Yes.
Let us
this
know in the
was
chat.
1 versus 1. No, it wasn't, Gio. You're a liar.
So at 14 minutes, why can Sean be heard feeding you information, Gio?
It's a regular thing that they do, though. It makes me wonder why people want Nathan to go on a different show when this is the kind of tricks that they'll be getting up to.
The answer is because Nathan will go on genuinely one-on-one. He'll argue anybody with the scientific method one-on-one. But what they'll do is they'll have 2 or 3 minions in the background, like microblogganism, for example. If it comes up to do with something to do with biology, that's where his niche will be. If Sean will come up to do with anything to do with whatever he specialises in. So we'll have all these little minions in the background so that if Nathan brings up some evidence to make a particular point, they'll have 2 or 3 of them straight away. Whilst Red's rhetoric's arguing a particular pedantic point, they'll be going off to try and find an answer to counter it. So that Reds doesn't even have to do it. Reds can just present it and trust his friends that have got him something credible. And that's how that's not how a debate's meant to be.
So is that to make the Glober look, much more refined in his arguments?
It's to present the appearance that they know what they're talking about, but they have to buy time and they have to stall a little bit, and that's where Reds picks up on semantic points and gish gallops along about nonsense. But that's just a stalling technique to create the impression that, I don't know, anything negative at all.
It's a well-oiled machine that kind of gives you a false sense that you're actually going to debate somebody on a level playing field.
I couldn't give a shit about the playing field or how level it is, to be honest. And if Reds need special circumstances to come and talk to me, then that is Reds' problem. Number 1, I owe Reds nothing. Number 2, there is an open door daily for him to come and debate me. So I'm not hiding. If there is to be a debate, Red has 2 choices. Number 1, he can come here and he can face me. Number 2, he can tuck his tail between his little bitch legs and he can fly off. So he gave a little example with a stork and a crocodile or alligator, I think it was. And the stork is going, yeah, you can't get me here, alligator. It's like that alligator stared at that stork and didn't care. He sat there because he'd probably eaten 3 storks that day. Reality being, you don't see very many storks eating crocodiles. It's always the other way round. Now, I appreciate that Red needs to try and negotiate every advantage he can get. And he's not going to get anything out of me. Same as Mick West didn't get a damn concession, anything that he asked for, he didn't get any of it. I said, no, if you don't want to join, bugger off. If you do want to join, there's the link. Those are Red's options. If he wants to join, he can join. If he wants to make demands of me, he can go do the other thing. Because he's not going to get a single concession out of me. Absolutely not. So that's very foolish on Red's part to start dancing around telling everybody how he wants to debate me because he only has one option to do so. Come here and do it. And if he wants to call me out and say, you've got to leave the bar that you've built to come and debate me, that's because he thinks he's special. He thinks he's a special stork. No, there are plenty of storks around. Yeah, there's a stork right here, right now. Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? Found that evidence yet, buddy?
Yeah, I posted it in the side chat.
Oh, really? Do you want to tell us all about it, mate?
Yeah, 1 second. Using triangulation, Cassini was able to make a measurement of the distance to Mars. He calculated a distance.
Sorry,
of
you
about
just said two
100
things. You said
kilometers.
calculated and measured in the same breath. Which was it?
I'm just reading what it says here. Astro from Princeton.
Can somebody get it on screen and let's read it?
I'll put it there. Second. Getting a bit confused.
Oh, Brenda's getting a little bit upset.
There you go. There is 7% off today's accepted value in 1671, I think it was.
So this is hearsay. Somebody asking on a website, yeah?
Say again?
This is hearsay. This is somebody asking on a website and somebody like you responding. And you're expecting us to trust that this is accurate.
The forum.
This is from Princeton.
Yeah, but it's tertiary evidence. It's not even secondary.
Ah, so like your evidence where you picked one line out. I've actually got something quite interesting.
No,
as well,
no. Mine was secondary evidence. It came from a journal. Secondary is considered good. Primary evidence is better, but there is no primary evidence back from the day. So we have to rely on secondary. You're relying on tertiary evidence. Tertiary evidence is not good evidence. It's a blog, essentially.
But from Princeton.
Yeah, where's the best? If this is your best citation, a blog on a web page of somebody asking, and somebody that we cannot check the credentials
It's not like
of.
it's like, excuse me, it's not like it's just some random blog.
What's the guy's name? Who is he? What's his?
Princeton University in America.
Yeah, who's the guy that's written it?
Give me a second.
Jimmy, you don't seem to understand that we would have to continue peeling the onion back. Just because it's a tertiary reference, he's referring to something that has no substance. We would still have to find out where he got that information from.
Sorry, I've got the top answer up. So, top answer. The book, The Transits of Venus, by Sheehan and Westphal, describes how Aristarchus used Hippocrates, how do you say that? Hipparchus calculation of the Earth-Moon distance, who in turn used Eratosthenes' calculation of the Earth's circumference to calculate the Earth-Sun distance. So it's based on. So it's based on R.
It's a failure again.
It's based on R, Jimmy.
Nathan, you need to tell us what the Aristotle's calculation was all about.
Can I read something out? So on the second link posted in there, astronomystackexchange.com, it goes into a bit more details about how Huygens did it. He knew that Venus showed phases when viewed through a telescope, just like our own moon does. He also knew that actual phase of Venus depended on the angle it made.
Hang on. We can't trust you to cite things accurately because you added a line in before. Let's get it on screen and let's read it properly.
It's in the link. You put it on yours.
Well, I'm on the Skype, aren't I? So it's either going to be Nathan or somebody else.
There you go.
Right. Riley, your boy George is back.
George Netanyahu, it might be a sock account though, so just ignore it.
I can just read it to you if you want.
Sorry.
Oh no, it is the real
link I
George.
just brought up.
Hey George, how's it going finding that? What's his name, Nathan?
Bill Miller.
Bill Miller. Yeah, how's it going finding Bill Miller? Because we've been looking for him, we've not been able to find him.
Sorry, which link, Jimmy? The second one I've just shared with Anthony.
There's Astro Princeton, which discusses the distance to the Cassini's distance to the sun, which was 7% off today's accepted value in 1671. There, I added a bit to that.
Oh, and it's an accepted value now, is it not? I thought it was measured.
It was calculated.
No, you just said it was today's accepted value, and I'm asking who's measured it and how, and you're saying it's now just accepted.
Link to radar astronomy, which is how they do it nowadays.
Which
So
one is
radar
that?
astronomy is
Hold
the
on,
answer.
which
Is that
which
your
link,
position?
Jimmy? Which of those is it?
Well, if you type in Cassini distance to the sun, the first thing you get is astroprinceton.education. And that gives you the value. And it was, according to these guys, not my own words, it was 7% of today's accepted value. So I'll say 1671, that's pretty good. I'll give them, got my hat to that one.
Right, so it says, using triangulation, Cassini was able to make a measurement of the distance to Mars. He calculated a distance of about 140 million kilometers, which was only off by 7%. So he's calculated a distance, but it's claiming that he measured it. Now, if somebody does maths to measure, that would be seen as doing maths, not measuring. So we're going to have to look a little bit further into this, because at the moment it's not supporting your position.
How is it not supporting my position? Oh, you guys.
Okay, so if you have Cassini's measurement,
No, because Cassini didn't appear to measure it. He measured it using maths.
okay, don't,
What else
yeah,
do you
okay,
think he used?
okay. Let me just.
Where some kind of measuring
My point-
device, laser.
My point.
In 1652.
Oh no, Alan, I'm going to correct you there. It's 1671, I think.
Oh, sorry.
This is
I made a
why I'm
mistake.
asking the question.
Okay, accepted.
Please forgive me,
1671,
Jimmy.
He was 7% off. What's the bastard?
Please forgive me,
Of
Jimmy.
what?
Sorry,
I-
7%
Right,
off
hang on.
what?
In the world of you, Alan.
You've said it
How
about
did-
3 times. Hold on.
Okay,
7%
let me
off
make my
what?
point.
The current measurement.
Yeah,
so
yeah, let me
where's
make
the
my
current
point.
measurement that it's being compared to, Jimmy?
Where's the
In
evidence?
the text.
In the text, can you show us specifically where? Because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you haven't got it on screen, Jimmy. So tell us where.
Where? What? In the
You
current
know when
measurement?
Anthony goes to Google and says, "Can you read this highlighted blue bit?"
Yeah.
Well, just show us.
Okay, 1 second. Can I read the second part?
Just show us. Bring it up on screen so we know we're not getting Jimmy's little additions.
I like that again.
It's little edition.
It's good on that.
That's brilliant.
No, it's not. It's disingenuous. You think it's brilliant because you're a lying baller.
I think there's a lot of disingenuous people on this panel.
What?
I don't think
A
I
bit
was
like
one of them.
Alan yesterday telling the audience that I lie about everything when I told him I was stroking a unicorn, which I absolutely was. That sort of thing. Yeah, that's because these guys are disingenuous liars who level accusations at lies at us at the drop of a hat.
I thought that was a euphemism.
I don't care what you thought, you told the audience that I lie about everything. And you were wrong, Alan. Totally
actually
and
stroking
utterly
a
wrong.
unicorn.
Lies are what we show Rumpus doing. Lies are what we show GeoStreber doing. Not me telling you, fact, I'm stroking a unicorn. You asserting that that couldn't possibly be true and that I was lying like I always do. Then I cut to a shot of me doing it. Yeah, so if you want examples of lying, you can check out the little section that I will snip out of GeoStreber unequivocally lying. Not one-on-one, like GeoStreber said, and Anthony believed, but 2-on-1. A lie. Or,
Yes, equally though, Nathan.
Rumpus.
equally-
Or Rumpus. You can look at him lying, saying that the mass of the Earth, the very thing that the Cavendish experiment was designed for, was an independent variable, and then the following day saying it wasn't, and that I was lying by asserting that he did indeed say that. Then I played it to him, and he said he
God.
misspoke, because he's a liar, like GeoStreber. You're all liars on your side, but you level that accusation at us for literally anything, even when you're completely wrong. I don't hear an apology for your incorrect assertion, Alan. Just a cough.
What are you going on about?
Yet you asserted that I lie about everything. I specifically stated that I was stroking a unicorn, and you said, no, you're not. You lie about everything.
Well, you weren't stroking a unicorn. It's a mythical creature.
Excuse me,
was.
I was stroking a unicorn.
He showed
You
it on
did lie,
screen.
you did lie yesterday, though, Nathan. to be fair.
Sorry, you were also of the opinion that that was nonsense, that I couldn't possibly be stroking a unicorn, Jimmy. Also wrong.
No, but you lied about watching a video when you didn't.
Excuse me?
Nathan, when you were on non-sequential, were you talking Skype?
Why are we now talking about something else, Jimmy? You asserted that it couldn't possibly be the case, like you had asserted that you couldn't possibly do something on a flat plane. And then lo and behold, I did do it. I showed the audience, making both of you look dumb after asserting it couldn't possibly be true, just like you asserted it couldn't possibly be done on a flat plane, Jimmy.
Which is true. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's just like it's true that I couldn't possibly be stroking a unicorn, Jimmy. Yeah,
Right,
that negative that you
animal.
absolutely claimed was true, that it couldn't possibly be the case. No, Jimmy,
was a
wrong.
unicorn, Jimmy.
Very difficult to prove a negative. Very difficult, my friend. That's why I humiliated you with a soft toy unicorn on screen.
Nathan, listen, let me interrupt a sec, then you can go back. George Netanyahu recently claimed that it was a futile conversation discussing what was it now? It was I can't remember what the topic was, but he claimed it was futile, and I called him on it, and he came on the show, and we had the hangout, and it ended up being hijacked accidentally by the Brian Mullen point. But it was based on his stupid assertion in the chat at the time, and he's done the same thing again. So George Netanyahu, I'm reading his comment, it says, quote, "Just adding information to this ridiculous discussion, distance to the sun is easily measured with electromagnetic sounding." Okay, I'm going to call you on that, George. Let's have a conversation on the show sometime, and you can present your evidence, and we'll see how they've measured it using electromagnetic sounding. Look forward to that one, George. Carry on, Nath. Oh, by the way, Gio's doubled down on his point.
So I'm going to round out on that note, actually, Anthony. So with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!